let's go. Oh, we are still fixing our hair. That went live fast. Okay, welcome. We are here, and we are dark hair today.
We are.
We haven't been dark hair together ever.
I can't remember the last time I colored my hair. At least 6 months ago, maybe more.
Yeah, I can't even talk about it. I don't even know.
It's been really long for you. You're essentially all natural color at this
my
point.
uncles were actually asking me, because my uncles are in town and my dad. And my uncles were asking me, they're like, oh, you went darker. And I'm like, no, that's my natural color. And he's like, oh, but it seems like you have some of the blonde on here. And I was like, yeah, this is 4 years old.
Yeah.
So probably some blonde.
If you've not been watching our live, we talk about how long it takes hair to grow.
Takes a long time to get hair done to here.
Also, I just have to say, I'm amazed that you have literally 0 gray hairs on your head. Because I have gray hair on my head.
I have eliminated stress out of my life. That's why.
I need to do that.
Yeah. We wanted to talk to you guys about cutting terms and techniques that can help you talk to your stylist. So we're going to go specifically cutting, although I have my little happy clouds over there in case the color stuff comes up. So let's talk about cutting and any questions you may have, because I know like a lot of people are getting back out in the world and caring a little bit more about their hair, and I'm thinking about cutting soon to do something. You should see the cut I want to do. It's way different than what I have right now.
Very cute.
It's really cute. I'm just wondering if I want to commit to that or if I'm liking my hair
Do you
like
think
this.
that you could do something that dramatic to your own self?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. No stress.
I couldn't.
No stress. Yeah, I could do it. But I like really think about angles and stuff, so cutting that isn't like that hard on me. I would like I would trust myself to do it more than most people, I think.
Yeah.
Because I know my hair well enough to know like weird things.
And you've been doing your own hair long enough.
Yeah, for like 9 years, I feel like I've been cutting it. Okay, so this is going to come in handy. This is our trusty cord that also helps you understand what hair looks like. So I want you to envision this as a hair strand as we're talking about it, okay? So this can help you determine, health of hair and things like that, of where to cut. So if you guys have any questions that you're like, maybe you've had a hard time talking to a stylist about something, you're not getting the look you want, you see a cut, but you don't know how to express it to your stylist, like that's the kind of stuff I want to help you with. I also want to help you with where to cut and what certain terms that are really important for you to understand, like layering. That's the most important one.
Mm-hmm. And understanding the commitment of a cut too.
Yes.
With the amount of hair that you take off.
That's a big one. You have a personal thing on that, right?
I'm dealing with it right now.
Okay,
yeah.
Why don't you tell them with that so that we can start with that and then go from there?
Well, the thing that I didn't really take into consideration with my cut, because the shag haircut was really in style. It still is, I think, where there's a bunch of really short layers and they really just are shattering your hair like as much as possible. And then I had really short curtain bangs, which I cannot believe how long they are now. But
yeah, they are long.
My curtain bangs were literally starting like at my eyebrow and just were to about here. And all of my layers lived pretty much in this area. But the issue that I'm dealing with now is that over time, it's made my hair feel a little bit thinner. And like I have less hair on my head. And I think it's because with all of my layers starting to grow out, like they're all starting to hit, like look at how much hair on my head is hitting in the exact same spot now at this point. So underneath all of this hair, it's still technically a lot of hair just because I have a lot of hair, but it feels much, much thinner than what I'm used to.
So I think this brings up a lot of good topics that I think will help people that they may not understand that will help them. So that gave me like the gamut of things to talk about. We've got plenty, but if you guys have questions, feel free. Can you hand me that comb right there? Okay, so I want to talk about why that is what it is. So do you see how here you can barely see my lips and here you can see better through the comb? Okay. This is what happens when you go in and you layer your hair more and more. It goes from this density into this density. And you can see that when somebody cuts into your hair like this, it turns into this. Okay. And so if you think about that on a really big scale, okay, so Savannah's an extreme scale. So this is why. Let me show you what happens. So when they pick up the hair to cut, what they're doing is cutting basically in essence, like I just did all the way up here, all the way down to here. Do you see how much they're taking? So like I said, mine is years of growth. This is probably a year and a bit of growth for her, or about a year of growth for Savannah. So from here to here, they cut out a year. So all of this will take a year to get back to here. So by them just going, which seems like no big deal, is a year of growth for you to get it back. So that's why whenever somebody takes a scissors, not this way, but in this way. So what I'm talking about is not horizontal with the perimeter of your hair. I'm trying to think of the good way to say this because there's so many. I can still bring all your hair up and horizontally cut and cut a ton of layers out. So I don't want you to think that that's the only way. But anytime they go away from just this base cut, which is straight across down the bottom, you are now taking off your growth, okay? So because that doesn't really cover it because I can take off your growth this way too. I can cut way up high too. So, right?
Like the internal growth, like the internal.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of the right way to say this because this is not a black and white thing. This is just very like, there's so many facets to this. But what I'm trying to get across to you is when they're cutting, when your hair is all down and they're just cutting perimeter, it's very easy to notice how much length they're taking, right? So if you go like this and you're taking more and more and more layers like this, sorry, my chair's making a lot of noise, but you're taking more and more length by doing this. But what you don't notice is as much as like when they're cutting out here, when they're cutting up here, when they're cutting in like this, those are all ways to take mass amounts of hair without you really seeing that and
You're
perceiving
losing-
how much is
losing that much.
losing, yeah.
Whenever you said that, it reminded me of whenever somebody says, like I told them to only take off 2 inches. And maybe they did from the bottom, but then within the layers, if you look at the difference in this, it's not just 2 inches anymore. It's like 5 inches.
At least.
Yeah.
It's probably more. That like this is
For mine,
7
yes.
inches. This is 7 inches. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So you've taken a lot in doing that, which is totally okay. Just understand it. I'm not saying this to put you in fear about cutting layers. I'm just saying be smart about how you ask for them. So when you ask for heavy layers or a lot of layers, they have a tendency to take a lot more and it's redistributing the weight. Now, does everybody want all their weight down here and want their hair 10 miles long? No. So it's just being conscious of like what you're asking for. So I'm just trying to give you all the skill sets to take in what you want into consideration, what you really want out of your haircut. That's why I want to help you guys discuss with your stylist, like, because I understand like when you go in and you want one thing and you have no idea how to communicate it to them. I think it's so important because I remember somebody saying like, I want 2 layers. And I was like, no, like I can't give you 2 layers. I don't know what that means. And it's when there were like shelved layers in, and I really don't like that. I like blended layers. I did not like when you could just see it. So really understanding what she wanted to get out of that cut, which is she wanted a more edgy cut. She didn't want it like perfect. You know what I mean? Which is totally easy. It's just a disconnected layer. She wanted more disconnected layers, which is more like what you have. But the best way she could reference is 2. She wanted 1 up here and 1 down here.
She saw
and that's not the way layers work. It's not the way the layers work at all. So, just getting down to the heart of it and communicating with your stylist about it is so important because everybody talks a different language about these things, and just trying to get you there is the goal so that we can all have hair that is what we love. Yes, hair we love. Okay, so let's talk about where to cut hair. Okay, so let's get back to our handy dandy cord and split ends. Okay, so basically you can picture this as split ends, and have you ever seen like the white dots on the end of your hair? Like I see it on mine. I don't know if that happens to just thick hair or not. I can't find it right now. But
mine too.
Does it? Yeah, I can see like 1. But anyways, so if you ever see like a white dot at the end of somebody's hair, that is, what happens down here. And then if you think about like just hair that looks like frayed a little bit. So think of this more as split ends. This is more like a hay kind of looking hair. Do you know what I mean? It's like thick looking or like like hay. I don't know how to describe it, but
that's exactly how mine looked when I got it shocked by the pool.
And then up here is just stuff you can't really see, but it doesn't look quite as shiny. And then as you move up, it gets shinier and shinier. And then this is healthy strand. Okay, so if you're looking at the bottom of the hair, you definitely want to cut off this. This is the window of opportunity. And this is like most likely where you're going to have like the best result. And this is like extreme cut. You didn't do a dusting cut. Like this can all be really rectified with dusting cuts for the most part. This is like the newest hair that doesn't have really any damage or any color or anything. And then this down here is like what I call the window of opportunity, right? So the window of opportunity is this. You can stand up straight actually. Yeah, perfect. So it's right here. This is where, when I'm cutting somebody's hair, you see how this looks all kind of more see-through in here? So if I cut here, it's going to look very thick. Do you see how the difference? And as I go down, I see less and less. So this is really, like, this would be the healthiest. Then you kind of have like a window of like, oh yeah, I could cut here or here or here or here. I can cut all of these, but I pretty much have to take this, is my view of it, right? And so like if somebody says, my most important priority is length, I want to keep my length, I'm going to cut like here. And then I'm going to kind of do the same over here. Do you see how this kind of goes away? This is like all kind of see-through hair.
See-through hair.
Yeah, it's see-through. Everybody has it when you're trying to grow your hair out. It's just what happens.
No,
it's
I'm
not
just laughing because I know it's true.
yeah, I know, right? So it's all see-through, and that's basically, and so I have a lot of clients back in the day, like girls that were trying to grow their hair out, and they'd say, take minimal. So minimal could be this, and that's where they're going to be happy. This is where I'm going to be happy, and this is where like everyone else is really going to see the difference. So, you know, finding out like, do I want people to notice this, or is it more for me, or is it more for the growth of my hair? Is it more to hang on to length? Like that's what I want you to understand, is that your window of opportunity is all through here, that you can go, well, length is a huge priority to me, and the see-throughness of it doesn't matter to me at all because I curl my hair all the time. Nobody's going to see this line anyway. Like those are the kinds of things you can debate about. So that window of opportunity is where the biggest mishaps, I think, happen for you and your stylist, because you could be like, yeah, just make it healthy. And they're like, here is healthy to them because they want it like so perfect and they want a really thick blunt line down here. And you might like that, like, you know, week 3 after the haircut where it starts looking more shattered, which is what most people like. But some people like a really fresh cut too, right? So that's where you just have to decide and talk about, you know, where your window of opportunity is. That's my made up term. They probably won't know it. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, my model Savannah, everybody.
Got you.
Okay. What is important for you to do? Not over blow dry your hair is very important when you're trying to grow out your hair. You can blow dry it. That can keep it very healthy. Just don't over blow dry it. Don't blow dry it until it's hot and drained all the water out of it and there's no shine in it. It's really, really, really important. I cannot stress enough how important that is. Do not overheat your hair, okay? That's my number 1 in hair growth. When you're not like the stylist, and not bleaching too much is number 1. And then how they treat your hair at the bowl is number 2. And then how you treat it all the time. All those are really equal because they can all like change your hair growth drastically. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're timing your haircuts, 8 weeks at least is a grow out cut for me. So if you can go 8 weeks without a cut, you're going to be most likely better off, as long as you didn't take that just minimal, you know, that minimal down there. So that also varies. Like your window of opportunity, if you took the minimal, you might have to go back more often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
And then a dusting cut will stretch everything. What else do you want to talk about? Face frame. Mm-hmm. Probably, right? Like, I think that's a big one. Okay. So face frame, do you see how my hands are like this? This is no face frame. Face frame opens up, opens up, opens up. More extreme face frame, less extreme face frame. Okay. So that's what you want to play within. So more extreme means it'll go up higher and it'll like, and so then connected is they'll go, disconnected is more like what Savannah has. She has some up here and then some here, and then there's a disconnect from here to here, which is okay. Just know what you want. Mine's connected, hers is disconnected. I love both. And you just got to know what you want and what's your priority. Her priority was getting a lot of different shattered layers and getting like a squared off look. And mine was just grow my hair.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do right now. I just wanted to grow it and see where it went to, because I'm obsessed with like lots of shows right now where everybody has really long hair and I just love it. So I was like, and I love the 70s like kind of hippie vibe right now. So I'm just seeing. And then I'm trying to decide if I want the shag hippie or if I want like the long haired hippie. I'm not sure. Then you guys can all be like, hey hippie, what's up?
Somebody said that they can't feel like they never get to see their layers, or that they never have enough layers. So how do they communicate that to their stylist?
Okay. I would say you want either more extreme or more dense layers. Like I would say, you know, I want them to be more visible. So less blended might be it. But, you know, if you sent me a picture, I could tell you specifically. I can help you get there closer to what you really want. But like hers are more visible layers and more extreme. And mine are very discreet. Okay.
You would have had no idea that you would have pulled out a layer right there.
Yeah, nobody would know that except me, who cuts them in. Like I cut little pieces in just because I like it to feel thicker up here. I don't like it to be like this. I don't want to be. I think you have to decide, like, do you want them visible or do you want them to serve the purpose? Do you understand the difference in that? Like Savannah wanted hers very visible. I wanted mine very discreet.
And to serve a purpose.
Mine wanted to serve a purpose. Yeah, I really wanted them to do that. So I think if you know which one you're going for, then you can understand how to talk to them more about it. Disconnecting layers also makes them more visible versus connected layers.
So like if Jacinda were to ask for her haircut to a stylist, she would say, I want to keep a lot of weight at the bottom, but I also would like to pick up a little bit of volume at the top here. And so if they knew how to cut based on that, then they would say maybe disconnected layers, whereas mine, and like more fragile, I guess, like not as many layers.
Yeah.
And then for mine, I wanted a very like shattered shag haircut. And so they would know that I want mine to visibly look like it's really layered.
Yep. So all of these terms, if you just keep building and make sure they reiterate back to you something that sounds like it is kind of in the same lines as us, if you're hearing what you want.
Also, I know that some stylists, I guess, maybe don't love it, and you might have your own opinion on it too, but whenever I was in the chair, even if the person was showing me a photo of someone who didn't have the same hair texture or hair color or density as them, I still liked to be able to see that visual of what they wanted for themselves. So I liked personally whenever people would bring in a photo and say, I really like this person's haircut. And then I would help break it down with them and say, okay, what is it that you like about this? Is it the face frame? Is it the color? Know that like your color is not going to look the same as this. So if you want that color, we can talk about that too. So yeah. I like visuals.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully you and your stylist can get to the cut you want in no time at all. So that's our goal. Getting the hair you love, one day at a time. So cheesy. Okay. See ya. Bye. Bye.